will try and remember and repeat ingredients a couple of times as I'm listing stuff off. So Amy and I were talking earlier, and what I like to do on stuff like this, we're basically just wanting to kind of show you guys how easy it is to incorporate oils into every part of your life. So we've already done a cooking with essential oils class. This time we wanted to do a barbecue, because whether you end up in a small group in your backyard or whether you end up in a larger group separated a little bit in your front yard or at a park or wherever you're going to go, we have a holiday coming up next Monday. And I know that this is kind of officially the start of, for a lot of people anyway, of summer and the grilling season and all of that kind of thing. So we wanted to do a class tonight kind of focusing on some foods you could use for a cookout or a barbecue or that type of thing. Hello, Dorothy.
Carol, I think too, sometimes what happens, kind of the same mentality when we first start utilizing oils, and everybody always wants a set protocol, because we're kind of in that mentality. It's the same thing with recipes. And I drive my daughter crazy because I don't use a recipe a lot of the time. And so it's just kind of a shift. And again, we always say when we're utilizing them in cooking is you can always add more, but we can't take it out. So that's why, especially, I know we're going to talk a little bit about some hot oils, but especially when we're doing that, we do the toothpick trick. But, often for like citrusy, that kind of stuff, I don't know that you could overdo it if you did 10 or 15 drops, but it doesn't have to be exact. And then so many of us have different tastes. We like certain things than the other. So it's just really kind of up to you what you like.
Yeah. Well, and that's the beauty of things too. Sometimes when we use regular herbs in our food, the taste might be subtly there, but it's not as pungent. Although sometimes I think of as a negative term, but it's not as noticeable. That's a better word. The nice thing about our oils is, for example, if something calls for lime juice, you could use lime juice, lime zest, and a little bit of lime oil, and you're really going to get the lime flavor come through.
Sure.
So it's a nice way to like combine ingredients and make sure that you're getting a nice full flavored dish, whatever it is that you're doing. So
and again, when we're talking about utilizing oils in our cooking, we're obviously talking about doTERRA's oils, because we know how they are grown, distilled, tested, and we know that there's no additives to them. So going to Walmart and grabbing and I love Walmart, I'm not dogging Walmart, but going to Walmart and grabbing their lime oil is not going to be the same as using our lime oil. So when we're talking about this, we're always talking about doTERRA's oils.
Yep. A couple of things when we're talking about the use of oils in food, just in general. And don't feel like, if you're taking notes, don't feel like you have to like scribble really fast and get all of this in one fell swoop, because I'm going to list off a bunch of names of oils. But I'm going to have an ebook available for you when we're done with this session. So I'll tell you where to find it at the end of the class. But all of this information I'm about to give you right now is listed in the ebook. It's on a little chart right here. So we want to talk for just a minute about the essential oils that we know to be okay, doTERRA's essential oils that we know to be okay to ingest or use in cooking. So this is a generally recognized as safe list. So want to just real quickly read this off for you. These are oils that you could use in cooking if you wanted to. Some of them I'm just kind of like, but I'm going to list them anyway. Okay, so it's basil, bergamot, black pepper, cassia, cinnamon. Let me stop for a second. Cassia and cinnamon are from the same family of oils or plants or parts. Yeah. So anyway, for those of you who might not be familiar, our cinnamon oil is actually a cinnamon bark, and it's your really pungent, strong cinnamon flavor. Cassia is actually more of a sweet, almost a cinnamon sugar, wouldn't you say, Amy? Kind of taste. It's more what you would think of in a cookie or something like that. So you can use those interchangeably. Most people can use those interchangeably, depending on the amount of flavor that you want. Then clary sage.
Oh.
Yeah, that seems weird, but it's a sage oil. So
Okay.
fennel. Be careful about the fennel. You can use too much fennel and cause your entire family some distress. Geranium, ginger, grapefruit, juniper berry, lemon, lemongrass, and this is an old booklet. There's several others that I've not listed, and you can still use them. Lime, marjoram, melissa, oregano, peppermint, Roman chamomile. That's great in tea if you wanted to make your own chamomile tea. Rosemary, thyme, wild orange, and this is the one that I'm like, ylang ylang. Now, there are some oils that we know for certain you absolutely under no circumstances want to use in your cooking. These are some of those. Arborvitae, Peggy's jumping on.
Nope, she gone.
It makes that noise before it comes back.
Oh, okay. Well, it said she left.
Hey, Peggy.
Said she joined, and then she said she left.
Yep, but she back. So these are the oils that you absolutely don't want to use in cooking. And some of these are understandable, like arborvitae, cedarwood, cypress, Douglas fir, eucalyptus, spikenard, white fir, and wintergreen. So you'll notice those are firs, trees, mostly the tree oils. So that's just kind of a listing of ones that you want to use and that you don't want to use. I know we're talking primarily about barbecue and grilling and that type of thing right now. But here's another handy hint for you that I want to make sure that you're aware of. Hey, Starlet. I don't think she's on yet, but she's coming. There's a few things that you want to make sure that you pay attention to when you're prepping your food or whatever. One of the things that we suggest is that you use a veggie wash or a wash for any of your fruits and vegetables before you take them out, especially if you do not know that they're from a certified organic source. But even at that, they will have been out in the dirt with occasional bugs and that kind of thing. So you can use either On Guard or lemon oil, just a couple of drops in the water that you use to wash off the fruits and vegetables. Now, the longer you let them soak in that, the more they'll take on the flavor of the oil, so just keep that in mind. I have even in a pinch used the On Guard foaming hand soap to wipe off some of my squashes, that type of thing. So that's something that you can do. One of the things that you need to remember is that if you're looking to use your oils for therapeutic benefit, so let's say you're making a soup, or a soup is really the best example, some type of a sauce, and you've got somebody that's maybe feeling a little bit under the weather, but you want to add in some oregano or some cinnamon or some On Guard or even lemon to help just kind of flush through the system. Hey, Stephanie. Then you want to make sure that you add those oils at the very end. So especially if you're heating them up. The therapeutic benefit of oils flashes off if you get it too hot. So what I typically will do is put those oils in, like once you've turned the heat off. You can drop them in, stir them in, and let them sit for a couple of minutes and they'll be okay. But you don't want to put them in at the very beginning and then saute something, because then you'll have the flavor, but you won't have the therapeutic benefit. Now, if you don't care about the therapeutic benefit and you're just using them for flavor, doesn't matter. Just add them whenever you want to add them. And I have found too that if you want them to settle down a little bit in flavor, cooking them a little bit longer does help. So if you get something that's a little bit more potent than what you expected it to be, cooking it a little bit longer will help. The other thing that you want to think about is when you're using oils in your cookware of any kind, you want to make sure that you're using it in like stainless steel, ceramic, or glass. I personally would never use my essential oils with anything that is Teflon coated, because it'll eat off the Teflon and then you'll have Teflon twice in your body. But it will eat through plastic, so don't put it in a plastic container that you might reheat in the microwave. That's a whole nother topic, but don't use plastic. The glass, ceramic, or stainless steel is going to be fine. Or even I use oils frequently in my cast iron. So anything that's not going to like eat off a coating or that type of thing. And then let's talk for a second about toothpick method. Amy, you always tell this well. You want to talk for a second about why we use a toothpick?
When I first started utilizing oils and trying to do them in cooking, I decided to add oregano to my spaghetti sauce. So I was doing a big crock pot, so, gets the big ones. And I did probably 5 or 6 drops, probably. And let me tell you, that was way too much. There wasn't enough sauce in my house to keep diluting. I added everything I could to it, and it was still too strong. So needless to say, I now do where I do 1 drop, possibly 2, but I recommend that you start with, you stick the toothpick, take a toothpick, stick it in to the bottle of oregano through, or whatever oil it is that you're using, into the, through the orifice reducer. There's that hole in the top. You stick the toothpick down in there a little bit on the toothpick, and then you just kind of swirl it in whatever it is that you're cooking. And like we said, you can always add more, but you can't take it out, and you can't always dilute it enough to make it usable. So that is my story about oregano.
And there's a few oils that you want to pay especially close attention to when it comes to whether you use a toothpick method or drop method. Oils like cassia, cinnamon, clove, cumin, thyme, and oregano are all ones that you might want to consider using a toothpick method instead of drops. Yeah.
Because it's way different. The amount is different. Think about how kind of concentrated and pure our oils are, and so that's why you just kind of want to get a feel for what the taste that you want. So
yeah. So that's just some ideas of how to use the oils, and I wanted to spend not all of the rest of the evening, but a little bit of this evening in our time together, just talking about some recipes. So like I said earlier, if you don't already have something, grab a piece of paper and a pen. I will repeat ingredients a couple of times so you have the chance to write them down. On some of these, I'll go ahead and repost them on the team page. And if there's one in particular that you really want me to do that with, make sure you type in the comments either on Zoom or on Facebook, hello Jackie, to let us know that you're interested in that recipe. I can't promise I'll get them all up, and it may take me a couple of days, depending on which ones people want, but we'll work on that. So we just thought we'd kind of go through some common dishes or ideas of things that you might find at a barbecue. So I wanted to start off kind of with some drinks that you might enjoy, just some refreshing beverages that are a little bit different than just water. You can obviously add any of the oils that you find enjoyable to water or tea. One of the ideas that we found here that I really think sounds yummy, except that I don't like lavender, so I have a substitution that you can make, is they call this Canadian lavender lemonade. And the recipe calls for 1 cup of freshly squeezed lemon juice, half a cup of maple syrup, that's to sweeten it. That's the Canadian part. There we go. Half a cup of maple syrup, 4 cups of water, 2 drops of lavender essential oil, 2 drops of lemon essential oil. Now, I'm doing the math on that. That's going to require, it's going to require a 2-quart pitcher, but it's not going to fill it up. So just be prepared for that, because that is 5 cups of juice. 1 quart would be 4 cups. So it's going to be just over halfway full. So just be prepared for that. You add all the ingredients to a glass pitcher and stir it, and then taste it to adjust whatever flavors you want. And looking at that, and I'll read the ingredients again one more time. I would love that, I think, with spearmint instead of the lavender, because I'm just not a lavender fan. So again, that's 1 cup of freshly squeezed lemon juice, half a cup of maple syrup, 4 cups of water, 2 drops of lavender, 2 drops of lemon, and then stir it all together. Or you could use, I don't know, I might start with a drop of spearmint before you put 2 drops of spearmint in if you're using the spearmint instead. So that was one idea. I also found a really nice sounding recipe here for something called tangerine sunrise. And this would be more of a frozen drink. So this one, the ingredients call for 2 cups of frozen strawberries, 1 cup of frozen pineapple, 3 drops of doTERRA tangerine oil, which is probably why it sounded so yummy to me, because that's one of my favorites, 2 cups of orange juice, and 2 quarts of lemonade. So again, let me read those. 2 cups of frozen strawberries, 1 cup of frozen pineapple, 3 drops of doTERRA tangerine, 2 cups of orange juice, and 2 quarts of lemonade. It says you add all ingredients minus the lemonade, so leave that out last, to a blender and blend it smooth, and then mix together the blended ingredients with the lemonade. So I would probably leave the lemonade in a pitcher, wouldn't you, Amy? And then pour the concentrate, the frozen stuff over and stir it up. Oh, this is a good idea. It says if you really want to blow the minds of your guests, consider making tangerine ice cubes by combining 3 drops of doTERRA tangerine oil with 2 cups of water, and then freeze the ice cube in an ice cube tray. And then it just further intensifies the flavor of the tangerine and it wouldn't dilute the taste of the lemonade or the drink at all. So that sounds yummy. So did everybody get that wanted it? Looks like it. Okay. All right. Then we move on to some ideas for appetizers. One of the things that I found here that I thought sounded really yummy is a peach salsa. Under normal circumstances, Amy and I might be together in the kitchen trying to slap this together, but things have been a little crazy, so we just decided we would talk about them and not make them. So forgive us this one time. This is an avocado peach salsa, and it just sounded really good to me. You use 1 medium avocado diced, 1 lime juiced, 1 package or 8 ounces of frozen peaches diced, a poblano pepper de-seeded and diced, a 1/4 cup of diced red onion, and you can add to or take out, because I personally wouldn't be real fond of the red onion. A handful of cilantro, finely chopped. Amy wouldn't like that. And 3 to 4 drops of lime essential oil. So you just combine those ingredients and mix it up together, stir it up together, and says serve immediately with favorite tortilla chips. So again, that's 1 medium avocado diced, 1 lime juiced, a package or 8 ounces of frozen peaches diced, 1 poblano pepper de-seeded and diced, a 1/4 cup of diced red onion, 1 handful of cilantro finely chopped, and 3 to 4 drops of lime essential oil. That just sounded yummy to me. One of the items that we know is good, because Amy frequently makes this for classes that we have, is what we call cowboy caviar. So Amy, tell us about that one.
Okay. Also, on that recipe that you just gave, I bet that would be really good on grilled chicken.
Oh, yeah.
Because we've had like the mango salsa before. I'd like that on chicken or fish or something like that, but that would be
pork chops or little pork steaks. That would be good.
Yeah. So years ago when we had a class here locally, and when we did classes back in the day, we would do them where people would bring snacks, and it would be something kind of usually oil related, or oil incorporated, I should say. And so cowboy caviar was one that we had on a fairly regular basis. And this one is pretty easy, but it is a can of black beans. And then it says a can of black-eyed peas. I've never used black-eyed peas. I just use another bean, and it's usually whatever I have. So I've used white beans. It just, northern beans. It just kind of depends on what you have or what you like. But black beans, and then another can of beans. And I drain those. And I will tell you that I actually rinse off the black beans, because if not, the juice from the beans colors everything, so it makes it kind of weird. So I do rinse those off. And then a can of diced tomatoes, or you can dice up a couple tomatoes, but when you do that, make sure you keep the juice the tomato juice that comes off of that, and put all that together. A can of corn. I like to do white corn because it adds a little bit of sweetness to it, because this recipe also calls for honey, which I didn't usually do because the corn was sweet. And then an avocado. And then you just dice that up fine as well. And then the oils that we incorporated into this was cilantro, black pepper, cumin, and lime. So, and that again is just kind of to taste, but I would go really light on the cilantro and the cumin. I would do a full drop of black pepper, and I would do a couple drops of lime. But again, it just kind of goes to taste as far as what you want. But that is just super easy, and it's super yummy. And again, that's another one that you could do. I'm trying to think. One time I had a bunch of it left over, and I'm trying to remember what I did. I think I had it on rice. Like, I think I incorporated it the next night with we had, Mexican taco meat, and I incorporated it to that. So again, super easy. Anything that you're doing that calls for citrus, or you think citrus would be a good twist, just utilize some of our citrus oils, lemon, wild orange, tangerine, lime, grapefruit, depending on what you're doing. So that's a super easy for the cowboy caviar.
And you use it with chips?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. Tortilla chips.
I was just thinking too that if you were cutting up your own tomato, instead of using diced tomatoes in a can, you could squeeze the juice of a lime in there too.
True.
In addition to your lime oil. Okay, we're going to say hello to Claudia and Trina.
Hey guys.
Yep. And then if you're like me, sometimes when you're doing an outdoor barbecue kind of thing, sometimes you want a salad. But I have found a dressing that I absolutely love. I've made this several times. Really, really like it. And Amy and I recently discovered, I'm trying to think, what was it that we had it was a meat, and we dipped the meat in this dressing also. But I don't remember. Oh, was it a pork roast?
Oh, maybe so.
A roast of some kind. Anyway, this is a really yummy dressing, and this is actually a recipe that you can get on doTERRA's blog. It's called wild orange vinaigrette dressing, and super easy. It's 1 cup of extra virgin olive oil, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, half a cup, hang on, a third a cup, this is tiny print, a third a cup of balsamic vinegar, and you could even use a citrus balsamic vinegar if you wanted to, citrus infused, 1 to 2 drops of wild orange essential oil. I personally, when I make this, I typically end up with 3 to 4 drops of wild orange. And then 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, and half a cup of brown sugar, sea salt, and black pepper to taste. You just put that in a container. This is a great dressing to make in a mason jar, because you can put all the ingredients in the mason jar and just shake it up. Let me give the ingredients one more time. 1 cup of extra virgin olive oil, 1 teaspoon of Dijon mustard, a third of a cup of balsamic vinegar, 1 to 2 drops, 3 to 4 drops of wild orange essential oil, 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise, half a cup of brown sugar, and sea salt and black pepper to taste. Now, a couple tips with this. If you're going to refrigerate this one's great to just make and go. Make and use it immediately. If you're going to refrigerate this, and use it again later, you're going to want to take it out of the refrigerator a little bit before you need to use it again, because it will solidify a little bit because you're putting the olive oil in the refrigerator. So just bear that in mind. I have one of the Pampered Chef things that has a plunger in it that you can use to break it up, and that helps a little bit too. Between the olive oil and the mayonnaise, it just hardens up a little bit. So, but it's, I'm just seeing myself now going like this on the video because there's a delay. That is super yummy over your salads that are like a spinach salad with strawberry and mandarin oranges, or a lettuce salad of any kind. It would be great. This dressing would be great to use to marinate meat. It's also would be really good, yummy to marinate some asparagus spears and grill them, or just grill them and then drizzle it over when you're done. Super yummy. That little bit of a citrus taste just really sets it off nicely. So that was an idea for a salad dressing. Then we were going to talk for a minute about a couple of different kinds of meat, ways to do meat. But let me take a break really quickly and remind you of our TerraShield oil. If you're going to be cooking out, doing anything in the yard, TerraShield is a great oil to add to whatever your family's doing to make sure that the bugs stay away. There's a recipe that I have started using. Amy, do you remember what it is that Ashlyn puts in hers? We add a couple of oils to keep some of the bugs away that maybe like some of the oils in TerraShield, and there are a few of those. So for example, ticks will still get on you if you have TerraShield on. So we have a couple of oils that we add to make sure that doesn't happen.
I think it's Purify, lemongrass, and peppermint, but I don't know that for sure.
Okay.
And she's not here for me to ask. So,
okay.
But I'll pull that up. What bottom line is, what she did is she took the list of bugs and what oils bugs don't like, and then she just added those all together because she doesn't like bugs. Yeah. So that's what she does. But I assume, Carol, that obviously Purify has citronella in it, and now we have the citronella oil. So my thought process is,
yeah, go ahead.
Is utilizing the Purify, or even adding the extra citronella that, like you do with the citronella candles that people have. I'm assuming it is the same.
Yeah. Can you talk to them for just a minute about the after sun spray? And then I'm going to run, because I just got some recent suggestions about what to add to the TerraShield spray, also from some of the newer oils that we got. So I want to run and get that. So,
okay. So one of the best, I know we always talk about, lavender is all things calming, peppermint is all things cooling, and frankincense is just everything in general. So those three are really great in combining into a spray if you've spent too much time in the sun. I don't always utilize frankincense. It depends on if I really let myself get burned, or if it's the first sun of the season, because I don't know about you all, but that tends to really get you. And so it's just, you just take the little, I think it, Peggy, do you know the little spray bottles? Are those 2 ounces or 3 ounces?
I think I usually do 2 ounce. Now, if last year when we went to the beach, I think I did a 3 ounce just because.
Is that what the glass ones are? Are they 3? Yeah. Like in something like that, I would probably do 15 or 20 drops of each oil, because we're using it for your skin and for a burn, and then just utilizing that. And it's super, like I said, I don't always add frankincense. It just depends. But I always do lavender and peppermint, and it is just super calming.
Well, and Amy, I've also done it in a roller bottle.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah.
And with fractionated coconut oil.
Okay, that's good. Good to know.
Really
yeah,
well.
That's good. Yeah, it just means sometimes when the spray just, you don't have to touch the skin if you really got fried. The rolling it could be a little bit discomforting. So Carol and I were talking before we got on, and we were talking through things, and Carol said, "Hey," she's like, "Do you want me to go ahead and say this now?"
Yeah, that's fine.
Now that I've alluded to it.
Later.
Yeah. Carol said, "Hey, are you utilizing you at Yarrow, right? Is that what you asked me? Yarrow at all? And I said, I've been using the serum. So the pump of the Yarrow serum I set on some of my skin flare-ups. And she's like, interesting, because, and then tell what I don't know where you
I
had
saw
heard
a
that.
post earlier today. I think it was on the Diamond page, where somebody was asking for advice about skin, sunburn, that type of thing. And one of the suggestions that they gave was the Yarrow Palm oil, because it's specifically designed to help with skin irritations and that type of thing. And I realized after she said that, and Amy and I are going to do a whole class on Thursday night on oils in the sun. So we'll talk more about this on Thursday night. But we were in Pigeon Forge late last week to do a little bit of training with part of our team that was there, and ended up meeting one of our team members who still wasn't quite comfortable with meeting in an enclosed area, which is absolutely fine. We met her out in a parking lot. I say it's absolutely fine, except for the fact that neither one of us thought about the fact that we were going to be standing in the sun for who knows how long. So we both walked away from that little meeting with a nice, you can see exactly where the neckline of our shirts were for both of us.
That and our arms. Yeah.
And actually what was really weird was my arms didn't get bad, except that I realized later that I had taken a jacket off and I was holding it behind me most of the time, and the sunburn was primarily around this part of my neck. So anyway, that was just super helpful.
Yeah.
Well, and last week I was doing some painting out on our deck, and the front of me, I was in the shade where I was painting because I didn't want to do that in the sun. And the back of me, I didn't realize it was in the sun, and I got burnt really bad on the back of my neck. And so the first day or two I did like lavender and frankincense, but then the third day I started using Yarrow Palm, and that just
wow, good to know.
What made us think about that, Peggy, is the fact that with both of us, now Amy's turns from burn to tan pretty quickly. Mine typically never. It just is always red. So it never turns color. And mine typically is always red and then peels and looks really nasty. Well, with both of us, you know how usually the morning after you get a sunburn, it stings to get in the shower? Well, with both of us, that didn't happen. Both of us have had the burn go right to more of just a color, and it's not peeling, it's not doing anything. And that was what made me think, because we've been saying since it happened, this is weird, what's going on? And so when they said that about Yarrow Palm, I was like, because I take Yarrow Palm capsules twice a day.
And I don't take those, but I've been using this serum up until we were gone because I didn't take the bottle with me. And so I've been using it topically, not in the place where the sun hit me, but still, obviously, it got into my system and was, doing that. So
well, I got my TerraShield bottle that I had added extra oils to.
Okay.
And the primary reason that was mentioned was, first of all, there are some bugs that still like some of the oils that are in the TerraShield and will still bug you. And secondly, there's a couple of oils that we've added to our collection since the TerraShield came out that, and they contain some of these oils, but it just isn't active. So to my 30 ml bottle of TerraShield, I added 30 drops of peppermint, 30 drops of Purify, 10 drops of citronella, and 10 drops of lemon eucalyptus. Lemon eucalyptus is an oil that they have found to be 100% effective against mosquitoes. So
good to know.
That's a good one. So I'm going to leave that out so we can remember to talk about it Thursday. Okay, so that's our little commercial about being out in the sun and with the bugs. Then we were going to talk for a couple of minutes about meats and different marinades and sauces that you could make for your meats. I pulled one that I thought this sounded yummy. It's an allspice marinade. And I thought this was cool because it includes several of our oils. So it's half a cup of beef broth, a 1/3 cup of apple cider vinegar, 2 cloves of garlic crushed, Side note, that would be way too much garlic for me personally, but adjust that as needed. A small onion diced, 1 drop of clove essential oil, 1 drop of marjoram essential oil, 1 drop of thyme essential oil, 1 drop of wild orange essential oil, 2 tablespoons of olive oil, and salt and pepper to taste. So you mix that in a bowl or a Ziploc bag, mix it all up, and then drop your meat in there. Let it marinate for, this says at least 6 hours or overnight. It says it works well for beef, poultry, or tofu. Okay. So that one sounded yummy. So that's good for those kinds of meats. And then I found one that was also looked good for chicken. Which, since this is barbecue, you know, we think of barbecue chicken often. This calls for 5 chicken breasts or legs, 1/4 cup of honey, talking too fast, 1/2 cup of tamari soy sauce, 1/2 cup of vegetable oil, a teaspoon of garlic powder, or you could use garlic clove, 1 teaspoon onion powder, 4 drops of lemon essential oil, 1 drop of lime essential oil, 1 tablespoon of orange zest, and the juice of an orange. This does not call for wild orange oil, but you could add that as well, maybe even instead of the orange zest if you don't have a real orange. And again, you mix that all up in a bowl or a Ziploc bag, drop the chicken in, let it marinate, and then grill it up. That sounds really yummy. Oh, Lise Reichert also said rose is good for bad burns.
Yes.
Rose would be great for that. Okay, do I need to repeat any of that? There's such a delay on Facebook, but I'm going to go ahead and go on. Then here, this I thought was a good idea for grilling your vegetables. It's basically a skewer, and if you all don't know, one of the handy hints that I learned a while back was that if you'll soak your wooden skewers in a little bit of water before you go to start using them, they're easier to get whatever you're putting on them. So for this, you're going to mix all of these first ingredients up. So all the ingredients up to the vegetables, we're going to mix together. It's 1/4 cup of olive oil, 2 tablespoons of honey, 4 teaspoons of balsamic vinegar. This calls for 1 teaspoon of dried oregano. Not sure that I would do, I guess you could use, in with everything else, you could use a toothpick of oregano in that one. Of oil, 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. This calls for 1/8 teaspoon of pepper, but again, you could use pepper oil. 1 to 3 drops of oregano. Wow, this calls for dried oregano and oregano oil. 1 to 3 drops of oregano essential oil and a dash of salt. So you mix that all together. Place 3 tablespoons of the marinade in a large resealable plastic bag and add the vegetables. Seal the bag and turn it, do whatever you need to do to coat the vegetables. And they suggest for vegetables, asparagus, a pound of asparagus trimmed, 3 small carrots cut in half lengthwise, 3 small carrots cut in half lengthwise. How does that work?
I think that just means slice it down until you have the 2 halves.
And I guess just chop it into smaller pieces. 1 large sweet red pepper cut into 1-inch strips, 1 medium yellow summer squash cut into 1/2-inch slices, and 1 medium red onion cut into wedges. then
It
again,
just got all sorts of shapes going on.
oh
We got
yeah,
slices and wedges and
Yeah.
circles.
yeah, that would cause me distress, I think. I personally would cut the carrots on the diagonal, so they were kind of the same shape as everything else.
I was thinking, well, my thought is then everything cooks maybe more
Yeah,
even. Yeah.
yeah. So it says you marinate those 1.5 hours at room temperature, transfer the vegetables into a grilling grid, and place it on a grill rack. So this is pictured on skewers, but I'm thinking that you wouldn't have to do that. You could just lay it out on a grill rack with some aluminum foil or whatever and grill it that way. Or even put a cast iron skillet or something on the grill. Do it that way. So that just looked, here's the picture. That just looked yummy to me. And I love grilled vegetables, grilled or roasted. Okay, and then we need dessert, obviously. And okay, bear with me for a second. This is one of those recipes that if somebody knows what's in it, they might go, no. But I've had these and they're really good. They're black bean brownies. So it's a 15-ounce can of black beans, drained and rinsed, 2 large eggs. And this is great, it's gluten-free, so it's great for people who can't have gluten. A 1/4 cup of cocoa powder. Oh boy. 2/3 a cup of honey.
I didn't know if it was an ingredient or if it was, you could read it. So I was like, what?
Very tiny numbers. A 1/4 cup of coconut oil, 1/2 teaspoon of baking powder, a pinch of salt, 4 drops of peppermint essential oil, and then 3/4 of a cup of chocolate chips divided. They're divided because you're going to put part in the brownie and part on top of the brownie. So you're going to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. This is also a recipe that's on the doTERRA website if you want to look it up.
Okay.
Blend all of the ingredients except for the chocolate chips in a blender until smooth. So you're going to drain and rinse your beans and then put it in a blender with everything else until it's smooth. Pour the batter into a large bowl and stir in 1/2 cup of the chocolate chips. Pour it into a greased 8x8 pan and top with the other 1/4 cup of chocolate chips and bake for 30 to 35 minutes. This makes a really dense brownie, but it's one of those that you would never know that it wasn't a flour brownie. Super yummy. So that's an idea for dessert. And we'll open it up in a minute for anybody who wants to share their ideas too. But and then I found this great idea for cleaning your grill naturally. You know how gross the grill parts get. It says you need a 1/4 cup of baking soda, 2 tablespoons natural dish detergent, 5 drops of lemon essential oil, and distilled white vinegar. You combine the baking soda, detergent, and lemon oil together and mix it. And then you add the vinegar until it has an olive oil consistency. So it'll be thicker than water, but not as thin as, thicker than water. Then you're going to brush the mixture onto the metal grill and let it sit for 15 to 30 minutes. The vinegar with the baking soda is going to cause it to bubble and get some of the geek off. And then use a damp scouring pad or grill brush to scrub the surface clean and rinse it with water. Wouldn't it be nice if it was really that easy? So that's just some ideas of, different ways that you can use essential oils for every course of a meal that you would grill or, for a barbecue, whatever. What are some other ways that you ladies that are on here live, or if you're still on with us on Facebook, you can type suggestions into the comments on Facebook also, but what are some other dishes or ways that you can think of that you would use your essential oils as a spice or ingredient?
Well, Carol, I think you had a good, do you want to tell again what you did? Or we're just talking about food in general, right? Are you talking about, like when you did that made your like chili for chili dog last week. Was it that?
Oh,
You didn't have
no, I
yeah.
wanted tacos, and I didn't have any
Tacos, that's
taco
right.
seasoning.
That's right.
Yeah. So I found a recipe on Pinterest, and I just substituted the oils for the spices that they had. So I'm trying to think. Hang on.
I think it was cumin,
Cumin, black pepper,
and oregano, I think.
yeah, and oregano.
Yeah, I think those were the three.
Oregano or thyme.
Might have been thyme. I don't remember.
I'll look that recipe up.
Yeah.
But it tasted just like a taco seasoning that you would use. And then ground beef and tomato sauce. I added a little bit more tomato sauce than what it called for. But it was, I would have never known.
Yeah.
I just finished that off last night, made a taco salad. It was super yummy.
So there's lots of, I was gonna say, lots of options. Yeah.
Right. And one of the things to think about when you're looking at something like that, most traditional taco salad or taco seasonings have MSG in them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So using your oils instead of that is a great way to alleviate the use of MSG if you've got somebody that matters to. So, Peggy, you got any super special ways that you use oils in your barbecue stuff?
I'll be right back.
Okay. No?
No. Nope.
Okay. Well, then
Not yet.
I'm going to talk real quickly. I don't want to belabor the point. I've got a couple of things to tell you about. One of them is the ebook that you can get, which is going to be backwards to you, right, Peggy? That's read backwards?
No, it's not back.
The right way? Okay, good. Okay, so I have an ebook that you can download from my website. So if you go to carolholtz.com and go to the page that says Learn EOs with me, and then scroll down to the bottom of that page, there's a spot that says Downloads. Click on there and you'll find this ebook along with several others on that page of my website. So that's kind of just a little gift to you. This is general cooking, but it gives you all the information that I just mentioned about the oils that are safe to use for cooking, which ones not to, and just some other handy hints about cooking with essential oils in general. So that's on my website. And then wanted to talk real quickly with you about what we've got coming up. We have gone ahead and scheduled Monday and Thursday night classes for the rest of May, which is just next week. Can you believe that? Ugh. So Mondays and Thursday nights for the rest of May. And then just so you know, we are tentatively looking at making some changes in June. As we all know, things are starting to get back a little bit to more of a normal. People can get out of their houses. They are getting out of their houses. And we want to respect that as much as possible. As you can tell, we've already seen a little bit of a drop off on people participating in the live things on Mondays and Thursdays, and that's fine. That's our cue that it's time to make a pivot and change a little bit. So that's what we're going to work on. We haven't determined for certain yet, and it might switch up whether we're going to do Mondays or Thursday nights for this type of thing. But we will switch it up a little bit to where one of them's a fun activity, kind of like tonight, and one of them is more of an educational. We probably need to do another intro to essential oils of some type soon. And then people are going to want a bingo in another few weeks again, and we can do that again. But just to give you a schedule for the rest of May, we are looking at this Thursday night. We will do a Facebook Live just like this one on the oils and sun. And there's so much we can talk about when it comes to which oils to use when you're going to be out, which ones not to, how to recover from some extra time in the sun, just all kinds of different things like that. And then next Monday night, we're going to do an aroma touch hand technique. We've got a special guest coming that has done a video for us ahead of time. That's just full disclosure. Amy and I will be on live, but we're going to play a video from someone who wanted to participate but couldn't be with us next Monday night. So we're going to go ahead and show that recording. I think it's going to be great. You guys are going to love it. If you've not heard of Aroma Touch, it's just a special oil application technique that can help bring our body into homeostasis, which is what we're looking for when it comes to the use of our oils. It's looking for that sense of balance within the body. So, and this is just a hand technique that can be used. If you have someone in your life that is older, maybe, hey, Terry Gentry, older, maybe in a nursing home or an assisted living facility, or that just, we all have people in our lives that just need more touch than what others of us do. This is a great opportunity to feel that connection with somebody. And it's a really quick technique. You use one oil, and you can literally, if you rush through it, you can get this done in just a couple of minutes. But it's a technique that you do want to take a little bit of time with and just show a little bit of extra tender, loving care. So that is next Monday night.
So they want to, we also want to bring, you want to bring a friend with you to that
Yeah,
night, so
if
that
at
you
all possible.
can practice. You can do that for somebody, and then they can do that for you. And we figured lots of people might be having company or having little, you know, whatever. So we thought that would be fun.
Cognizant of the fact that Monday is Memorial Day.
Yes.
So we're going to put that up on there. If you have a chance to sit with us and watch it live, great. If you don't, it'll be there for you to catch up with later. And if you're going to bring a friend or a spouse or a family member with you, make sure they picked out an oil, one of their favorite oils to start with, because it's literally whatever oil you choose. So, and that will again be at 6:30 Central Time, 7:30 Eastern Time. Kind of thinking that a lot of people do their cookouts on Memorial Day more in the mid-afternoon or early afternoon. So that's next Monday night. And the next Thursday night, we're going to do a class called Essential Oils Around the House. And we're going to talk about some cleaning ideas, bug treatment ideas, because we're getting to that time of year too. And just a variety of different ideas of ways you can use your essential oils in and around the house. So that'll be a good basics as well. And then we move into June, and we have a couple of thoughts and ideas for that. One of the things we are going to be working on and gearing more toward in June is we'll do at least one of these a week that is an educational basic information about essential oils, workshop type environment or fun game type environment. But then we're also going to be moving toward doing a little bit of basic training about doTERRA and business. And we needed to free up a little bit of time. We've got a building good sized group of people who are interested in that. So we're going to go ahead and focus a little bit on that type of thing. Some of those posts, just so you know in advance, will be daytime Zooms or lives, and some of them will be in the evening. So just be prepared for that. If you've never given the idea of doing doTERRA as a business a thought, these might be some good opportunities for you to jump on and just see what you think. So that's what I've got. Amy, what else do you have?
I think that's all.
Okay. Yeah. Any comments or questions from anybody? Speak quickly, because, yeah. I don't think we have anything. So thanks to those of you who have taken the time to watch this live this evening, and we will see you again Thursday night. Thanks, guys.
Bye.